Whatever.
It's there. That was the third time.
I never saw it, not once. I don't know how that happened. All right, let's get it started here with one of my favorite players of all time, Andrés Galarraga, the big cat.
The big cat, Andrés Galarraga, absolute stud. Blake Street Bomber. That's the thing about this organization, right? It's going to be one of the youngest organizations in baseball, so these guys are all going to be 90s and on. But Andrés Galarraga really kind of set the tone when he came to Colorado. I believe he was at the Braves before. I forgot who he was with, but he's part of I think the expansion draft. He was there and just came in, hit the ground running, hitting home runs left and right. I'll never forget when he hit a home run in Marlins Stadium. I forgot whatever it called it back then. Miami Stadium. I don't even know what it was, but it was one of the biggest, longest home runs of all time. He just had power that was just different. And when he was sitting there with the Rockies, it was just an incredible bats all the years he was there.
Yeah, I have a feeling that he might have had some extra power, but I'm not so sure. I can't say anything officially, but it always felt like there was some extra power in there.
All I know is like when I got signed by the Giants, JD checking himself out. He looks so bored too, hanging out. When he was with the Giants, I got drafted in 2003. He was with the Giants, and I came into the locker room, and I remember always being an Andrés Galarraga fan, and he had the biggest barrel. He was like one of the biggest human beings I had ever met. I don't even know how many home runs he hit. I'm trying to look it up.
I think he was high 400s.
Yes. The big cat, he had 316, 172 home runs with the Rockies. He had 30 home runs for four different times, but it was just like he led the NL in RBIs for 2 years at 96, 97, won the batting title in 93, had 370. I mean, the dude, like, it was absolutely insane what he did. He had 370 as a power hitter.
Yeah. That's when average actually mattered, which drives me nuts that it doesn't anymore. I got to be honest. All right. Up next, the Hall of Famer, Mr. Larry Walker.
Larry Walker, Hall of Famer. I don't think he's even a Rockies Hall of Famer, is he? He's an Expos, I believe.
That's a good question.
I think he went in as an Expo, but in all honesty, like when he came here to Colorado, everything like for the Rockies changed. He added that veteran presence. Like they brought in Vinny Castillo, they brought in Andrés Galarraga, they brought in Dante Bichette. It was Larry Walker who gave him that. Burke. Like Larry Walker gave him that like knowledge, that veteran presence in the locker room, veteran presence on the field. Absolutely amazing. The best memories ever was him, Randy Johnson, facing Randy Johnson in an All-Star game, and he hit righty and just got out of the way, just jumping out of the way of the ball. Absolutely great.
And turned his helmet around because he needed the ear flap on the right side. So he wore the helmet backwards.
Absolutely hilarious.
All right. Up next, one of my favorite players of all time, Todd Helton.
Todd Helton, I'm going to say this right here. He's the best Rocky of all time. Best Rocky of all time, without a doubt. Would have been a probably Hall of Famer football quarterback if he would have played in the NFL. Peyton Manning, he won the job over Peyton Manning at Tennessee. Like that's how good he was. Best defensive first baseman I've ever seen in my life. I think the best defensive first baseman of all time. Because the reason I say this, I have never seen an offense change their approach to baseball based upon the first baseman. And we can no longer bunt to first base based upon how good he was. And you completely changed the game. He completely changed the game. He got the 3,000. Did he get the 3,000 hits?
I don't remember.
Oh, I mean, anyways, 369 home runs, 1,400 RBIs, Gold Glover, 3-time Gold Glover, which is absolute crap that he only won 3 times because he was the best defensive first baseman without a doubt. Won batting title at 372. He was a guy that nonstop put the bat to the ball. 5 consecutive All-Star games. I mean, the thing about him where he loses some of that respect is the fact that other first basemen were around.
Oh, really? I didn't even think that was the knock on him. I thought
the knock for the Hall of Fame was the Coors thing. I think a lot of it was from an all-star standpoint. All that stuff was there's just so many good first basemen that he kind of got like in a mix of like just incredible studs.
It's funny, while you were talking, when you mentioned Peyton Manning, I was curious, who made more money in their career, Todd Helton or Peyton Manning? Because usually,
Probably Peyton.
yeah, it was Peyton by about 80 million. But hey, 161 million for Todd Helton, not too bad. I'll take it.
Not bad at all.
And finally, a guy who's not on the team anymore that should be on a different team, Nolan Arenado.
Nolan Arenado, this one was very tough with me and the guy who was first man out, Troy Tulowitzki. They were both obviously together, left side of that infield together. Studs, Troy playing shortstop, Nolan playing third base. One of the best little lineups there for a little bit when it was what it was. Great defensive third baseman, obviously offensive. It was very good too. It's just, to me, it's like, God, if he would have been there a couple more years, I wish he would have been a Rocky, and not gone to St. Louis and see how that played out offensively. Cause he's an absolute stud.
And you mentioned the first guy out on your list is Mr. Troy Tulowitzki.
Tulo, just didn't play long enough as a Rocky. Was there still 9 years, but just like when you go to the list, I think about it, and I think Nolan had a little bit more of an impact during his time there, even though it was less than Troy. Had a little bit more of an impact. Again, they're only together for a couple of years, but Troy, stud, a couple time Gold Glover, just not quite on the list. I think Nolan had a little bit more impact.
Yep. And the guy that has a chance to make it to the Mount Rushmore, who is currently on the Rockies, Ezequiel Tovar.
Dude, stud. This guy is an absolute stud. If you don't know him yet, start paying attention. This guy can play anywhere. Like, he's not just a Rockies guy. He's not just a Coors Field guy. He's a dude that can play anywhere. I love him. He's 23, 2 years under his belt. He's an absolute stud.
I totally missed what you were saying for the last half of that little speech, because I had a little weasel behind you checking out his hair, making himself look good.
Could look more bored sitting here, like JD.
JD, get over here.